All right. So I watched a video that my buddy Dale Appleby posted a couple days ago, and it was a it was him shooting a video about another streamer, another Golf Clash YouTuber, posing the question, like what things in the game, not like the whole brand new features, but like what features do we already have in the game that they could improve on to make them better. And they asked that person asked some other YouTube streamers. Tommy was on there, and a bunch of other streamers were on there, and they gave like what their pet peeve is or what their issue is. And one of the ones, and I'm gonna shoot individual videos for each one because they could get. I shot 4 hours of video the other day talking about these subjects, and I actually should just post the raw video because I do cover a lot of big points. But the first one I want to talk about practice. So it seemed like practice was like one of the key topics that everybody was concerned with, and everybody was like, we need to change practice, or we need to make practice faster. And a lot of the comments, and I hear a lot in the community, is people wanting to like, we should just be able to go out there and practice by ourselves and just get in immediately and practice so we're saving time. Okay, first of all, in order to understand how we got to this point, let me give you a history lesson. So way back in the day, and this is kind of like midterm because it was a little teeny bit different at the very beginning, because at the very beginning wind in the tournament was variable just like one-on-one. So they made a change. It was the first year, it was kind of like July, September of 2017, somewhere in that neighborhood. They standardized the wind so that the wind was stable in the tournaments. So if I played on a hole and I had tailwind, you got tailwind. It was in the past where you could be in a group a millisecond ahead of me and you got tailwind and I got massive headwind. And so they changed it so that the wind was at least going in one direction. But here's how it would work. The tournaments would get announced on Thursday, and they would post. So you'd go in to play, and it wasn't always like this, but this is how it really should have been. Is you'd come down here, and in tour 3, Nahamy Cliffs, talking about this week in particular because these holes are in the tournament, we could come down and play tour 3. So if you were playing rookie and you wanted to get the Nahamy Cliffs holes, you could come down to tour 3 and you could play. It wasn't grinding. We weren't trying to get clam points. We were practicing tour 3. So tour 3 was super active. Anybody who was playing rookie in the rookie tournament was playing tour 3 because the Nahamy Cliffs holes were in tour 3. So if you were a rookie and you had low level stuff, you might want to avoid tour 3 this week because there was going to be a lot of players down here playing with good stuff, but they were practicing, trying to get the holes worked out. And the wind was, we don't know what the wind's going to be in the tournament versus what the wind was in the one-on-one, but you could go out and practice the hole and try and dial it in a little. They'd put the course, like if we think about pro as being tours 7 and 8, they would put the course down here, and maybe 9 and 10 they would put the holes, and then up here for masters for the third tee they'd put the holes. And so everybody could go into their division. So like maybe the Nahamy Cliffs were in Tour 7 this week, and so you could play and Tour 7 was super active. I think in Tour 8 we have the Yongsan Gardens, which is the other course that's in here, and Tour 8. So Tour 7 and Tour 8, you had to play two tours. Now, as a player, I played a lot back in the days when it was like this because you had to go play those tournament holes, especially on weeks where the holes were brand new. Shit, you had to come. I was trying to get video for all the holes to show everybody what the holes look like. So I'd have to play forever in order to get all 9 holes, and you'd have to go to the shootouts to get the par 3s. And so it was a lot of playing during that week. I mean, I'd play 150 games in a week in order to get video for 10 holes, 9 holes. And so we ground it out. There was no practice. So everybody was more active playing. Now, Playdemic, in my opinion, Playdemic is a ball manufacturer. So we were going through a lot of balls. Like I'd go through an extra 100 balls, even if most of them were Quasar. But I guarantee you, every time I pulled up a Nahamy Cliffs or a Yongsan Garden hole, I pulled out whatever the hell I was going to play in the tournament on that hole because we were practicing for the tournament. That's how we practiced. Then along came the spider, along came the practice. So now we don't have to go out there and play that anymore. For me personally, I don't play one-on-one anymore because I don't have to. If I want to practice a hole, I can come here and I can hit practice and I can go play exactly the hole that I want. And I can pay a practice token and pay that. So a lot of the comments that were on that video from other YouTubers was like, this was the problem, but there wasn't really a lot of solution. So let me give you what my solution would be. Let's get rid of practice. Then you don't have to spend as much time in practice because we got rid of practice. So the tournament starts on Monday. So Saturday and Sunday, we have practice. We have this practice that we're looking at right here on Saturday and Sunday. When the tournament starts, you don't get to, in the real world, you don't get to practice during the week on the course, okay, unless you pay. So you can go to Tour 3 or Tour 7 or Tour 8 or Tour 11 or wherever the hell those holes are at in Tour Play, and you can play those holes, and you can get your time and grade by going out and playing out on the course, and you can get to play that hole. It's not going to be the tournament win. It's not going to be the stuff. You don't get to go. This is what people are really bitching about. Okay, this is what people are really bitching about. They're in the qualifying round, and they're on hole number 9, and they hit play game, and then they hit practice, and then they're like, hey man, I had to wait till I got an opponent, because they want to play it 7 fucking times and get it dialed in, and then go out there and play the hole. And then they want to play it 7 times and then go, hey, screw you. Like, we got our practice in on the Saturday and Sunday. If you wanted to practice that hole, you go out there and you play Tour Play, or you have multiple accounts. But like, you want me to speed the game up so that you can practice 7 times before you play the hole, and then you play it 7 times before you play the hole, and then you play it 7 times before you play the hole. Yes, Playdemic they are going through balls and they're going through stuff, but I mean, like, overall game, how many people, raise your hand if you don't play like Tour Play very often? Like, think about especially if you played this game for a long time. How often do you play Tour Play? How often do you go out there and you just play? Like, every now and then you might play 1 or 2, but like, how often do you play versus how often you used to play? You used to play all the time, because that was how you got your practice on holes that were coming up for the next tournament. And you would look in the grid and see which tours you needed to play that week in order to get practice holes. And if you were playing down there and you didn't have a big bankroll, and you got to be aware that, hey, everybody's playing Tour 5 this week. If you play rookie tournaments, everybody's playing Tour 5 because the holes are in Tour 5. The Oasis or whatever course it was, that's in Tour 5 this week. So everybody's going to be down there. So if you play there, you got to expect that you're going to play some, you're going to have a lot more competition. And they want to speed up tournament or practice, then get rid of it. The other thing that they can do too is, if you have I played the first time through, when I first started playing, I'm in Tour, let's go back into the one-on-one play. I was at Tour 3, just had got to Tour 3, didn't have max trophies, and I'm not sure that I had all my trophies in Tour 2 and Tour 1, so I think I had like 70 or less trophies. And at the time, 4,000 something was maxed out trophies. I'm playing with like less than 70 trophies. And along comes Nicholas, and Nicholas is maxed out. Nicholas was a really good friend of Tommy's that shot videos with Tommy at the very beginning of the game, and he got pissed off during one tournament and quit playing. And he got irrationally pissed off. I think, he kind of regretted it and maybe played on the side, but he quit shooting videos and quit doing a thing. But he had maxed out stuff, and he had all of his rares were maxed out. And this was like 3.5 months into the game. He'd already had all of his rares were maxed out, and he was already like a level 5, level 6 with his epics, and lost 32 straight, and learned more during those 32. I learned how to run topspin. I learned how a Firefly works. I immediately switched over after I got out of that to a Firefly and started using a Firefly and understood how that topspin thing works. I learned a bunch of other stuff during that game too, and I learned how to play a couple of the holes that were giving me problems, like different ways to go at them, and that there was ways to do it. But if you want to speed up play, if somebody's playing, if anybody is playing in rookie and has 1 trophy, and they're playing against somebody who's maxed out trophies and you're in the same tier bracket, you should be able to get matched up. Why are we waiting for some narrow little band to match us up? We're playing in the fucking tournament. I think it's the same thing in one-on-one. I don't understand the whole why people complain about the matching up stuff. You know, it's good to play. You learn more playing against better opponents. And almost, not in every case, but in most cases, it's all about getting to the shootout, and you can get to the shootout with your lower level stuff than they may have just by playing smarter. But if, in my opinion, if you want to speed up the practice, then get rid of practice during the week. Like right now, we are at the point where we are playing the tournament. We're in the qualification round. So there is no more practice. We practiced on Saturday and Sunday. If you're playing in the real world, those guys come out there on Wednesday and Thursday, and those are Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday and Wednesday, and they get to practice. Wednesday is really the practice day, and then the tournament starts on Thursday. Some courses, Tuesday and Wednesday are the practice days, and then Thursdays when the tournament starts. But when the tournament starts, there ain't no more practice. You better have your notes, and you better have all your stuff, and you can work on your notes as you're playing the round, and you can tighten it up and get a little bit better, but you don't get to go out there and practice the whole 9 times and then play it, and then practice the whole 9 times and then play it, and then turn around and bitch that, hey, I'm trying to practice the whole 9 times so that I can get it all dialed in for this exact win on this exact day, and it's taken me too long. Tough. I don't ever want to play this game where it's just me playing and I'm not playing against somebody else. I personally think that the game changed from a golf game to a tournament game when they changed the practice and we started having 9-hole cups every other week. So we play a 9-hole cup, we play a tournament, play a 9-hole cup, play a tournament. It's never ending. All we're doing is playing tournaments. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing is playing tournaments. The only reason you'd grind is if you were trying to get your clubs up and you were trying to open up chests so that you could do the thing, or you wanted to be a maxed out player, or whatever the deal is. But there's no incentive to play tour play. Especially once you get to a certain point, you get to Tour 7 and it's like, hey, I can just work on my clubs in Tour 7. There's no point to grind up. There's no incentive to do it other than you get club cards faster if you're winning those and opening up chests. But once you get your clubs to a certain point, there's no incentive to grind. The only incentive is to play, but I would play more tour play if I had to play tour play in order to practice the holes like it was in the old day. So if you want to talk about practice, my plan or my way of fixing the problem is to get rid of practice during the week and make people play tour play. They're going to spend balls, they're going to buy ball packs, they're going to do that stuff. I'm sure that from Playdemic's perspective, they're seeing the numbers and they're like, dude, we'd lose money if that happened. You know, it would all boil down to money because they make money off of selling the practice tokens. But you'd think that they make more money selling balls than they do during practice tokens. But I don't know what the numbers are. But you want to speed up practice, let's get rid of it. And I have no sympathy for you if you're like, well, I want to speed up practice so that I can practice the hole more before I play it. Fuck you. There you go. Thanks for watching.